Hello, I'm going to be making this video on those who are having issues with bringing in textures, AO maps, normal maps, roughness, metalness into 3ds Max, because I know I struggle with finding videos that are newer and that aren't from 2015 that help me with figuring out the new version of this program. So if you are having trouble with that, then keep watching. So I have my textures, my AO map, my texture, my color map, my metalness, my normal map, and my roughness map all in a little folder here, just to keep it all organized and all in one place. So I have my object here in 3ds Max. Currently it looks really shiny, and it looks like it has no normal maps, but I promise when you render it out like an active shade render right here, you can see that there is no shininess except for where I want it, like metalness on the metal, the button, and the fishhook, and you can see that my normal maps did come through. So just because it doesn't display in the main menu right here does not mean that it's not there. So if you have the vanilla version of 3ds Max, then all my key bindings should be the same for you. I'm gonna real quick select my bag right here just so that I can have everything selected. If you don't have any other lights in the scene or cameras, then you should just be able to hit Control A and it should select everything in your scene. So I have everything here and I'm gonna click M and it should bring up my material editor. This is what it looked like for me when I was able to get everything that I wanted on my object. Keep in mind, this is just what I figured out that works for me. There can be easier ways to do this, or there can be ways that other people, the professionals, have figured it out, but this is just what worked for me. And I mean, if it works, why change it, right? Unless I find something that's obviously simpler. So I'm just going to real quick apply a physical material to my object just so you guys can see that whatever I do does work. So you guys can see that my physical material was added. So to start here, I'm going to right click anywhere on the main material editor screen and I'm going to go to Materials, Arnold, and then I'm going to go to Surface and I'm going to go to Standard Surface over here. This brings up this long little list of items. It has a lot of more things rather than what I'm actually attaching. I'm only attaching 4 things to it. So here is your main material editor. That's where everything is going to be connecting to. Then I'm going to go back to the main area and I'm going to right click, and now we're going to be combining the texture map and the AO map. I combined them together into one because it didn't show up the shadows the way I wanted it, and I didn't want to bake out my AO map in 3ds Max because I got such a good one that I made in 3D Coat that I just didn't want to replace it. So I'm just going to be mixing them here. If you already have an AO map, this will work for you. If you are baking one in 3ds Max, then there may be a different step for you guys to do. So here I have my maps. I'm going to right click, go to map, go to general, go to bitmap, and I'm going to bring in my texture. I'm going to right click, go to map, go to general, and go to bitmap again, and I'm going to bring in my AO map. So now we have to mix these together. These will be connecting in, if you right click and you go to maps, go to general, and go to composite. Now this is the main little button where all of them will flow into. So I decided to make my texture go into layer 1 and then my AO map go into layer 1 mask. This is how it worked for me, so I recommend you do that as well. Then you go into here and you drag this one to base color. Sometimes 3ds Max can be a little fidgety with being able to drag nodes, so just keep in mind that sometimes clicking will be a little weird. So now I have my base color, my AO map. I'm going to right click again, go to map, go to general, and go to bitmap, and I'm going to bring in my metalness, and I'm going to also go to map, general, bitmap, and I'm going to bring in my roughness. So this will go into the, see here, it's being a little finicky, specular roughness, which is up there. Then I'm going to bring in my metalness, and this is going to go into metalness is right over there. Now I have to bring in my normal map. So I'm going to have two little nodes here. They work together simultaneously. I'm going to go into right click, go to maps, go to Arnold, go to texture, and then go to image. So just to repeat, because I went a little fast over that, go to maps, go to right click, go to maps, go to Arnold, go to texture, and then image. And that should bring up this one over here. You can select on the right side over by file name, and you will select your normal map. Now I'm going to right click, go to maps, go to Arnold, go to bump up here, go to normal map, and it's going to bring this little one over here. So now we have to connect these two together, these two nodes. So I'm going to drag this one into input, and then I'm going to drag this normal map into normal over here. Now you can see that everything is connected, all the nodes are connected. I'm going to shrink this a little so you guys can see. I'm going to drag this main node into my over my object. I'm going to apply to selection because everything is selected anyways. Now I'm going to close my material editor. So now we can see that everything's shiny like I said before, but we're going to go to active shade rendering. I'm just going to show you guys how to do that real quick. So you can go to the cog, the teapot with the cog wheel, go to target, go to active shade mode, and I'm in perspective, so I'm just leaving it there. And then I'm going to go to here, the teapot with the play button, and this will like make a small little render of your object and just show you what it looks like if it were rendered. It's just a little grainier version. It's easy to do when it's nice for when you're adding lights and you don't want to fully render out an image to figure out where to put lights. It's very simple, but you can see that my metalness did work for the things that I wanted, like the fish hook. You can see it's kind of shiny over there, and you can see it's shiny over by the metal up here. And that my normal maps did come through. You can see that over here by the little engravings on the straps, and you can see it down here by the stitching. So that's just how I added my materials, and if it works for you, let me know. If there's something that I can help with, then comment down below, and I'll hopefully be making some more videos on things that I couldn't find on Google but figured out, and I'm trying to make videos for that now.